Welcome, I'm the Deadwood Jedi. This is another Raid Shadow Legends video. I am in my account again today. As I'm doing a follow-up after that Archmage Hellmut video, I figure you guys should get a look at Archmage himself. So we're going to do a champion spotlight on Archmage Hellmut today. I'm very excited about this. One thing I should remind you guys, if you can, please go ahead and hit that subscription and like button, especially if you enjoy this video. Don't forget to do that at the end of it. I do appreciate that a lot. It helps me immensely. Also, if you guys would like a account takeover or some coaching, which I find invaluable, or you just want to support me and my work, or you want to look at the full version of the calculator that I have on the website, go ahead and join like one of these fine people here and join my Patreon. I have links down below in the comment and description of this video. But that is aside stuff. What I really want to focus on today, guys, is talking about Archmage Hellmut, and this guy is phenomenal. Just a wonderful, wonderful champion. You get him as a reward from the Doom Tower. He's the first epic champion that we get from the Doom Tower, and he is fantastic. Absolutely love this champion. So let's go in, look at his kit, and we'll get to trying him out in a bunch of different spots. This is the Archmage. First off, he looks phenomenal. I love the lightning going all over. I love his little electric ball of a staff there. It's great. He's got the book strapped. He's got a dagger, which you know he doesn't use. He's like, I'm just going to use magic. I don't need that dagger stuff. He's got like the gauntlet that's super strong, and like it's only on one hand. It's not even on both of them. And he just looks really cool. I'm a big fan of the purple, the gold, very Laker-esque. You know, thumbs up on this guy. Bannerlord champion. There isn't really a champion like this in the Bannerlord, so it's very nice to be able to get some of that diversity going there. Even for a a faction that has a lot of champions. Now, Archmage's main thing is he's basically like a Time Lord. This guy is Doctor Who. He has control over time and speed and manipulation. You can see that really here with his passive Chrono Isolation. He's immune to turn meter decreasing effects. It's a pretty cool ability, especially when you try to bring them in someplace like Arena, where a lot of times people are throwing, Lysandras at you. They're throwing Silars at you, people that are going to reduce your turn meter. Well, Archmage is completely immune to that effect. He also, on his A3, this is his big ability, right? Gives you an increased speed buff, increased crit rate buff, and an increased damage buff on all allies for 2 turns. Massive. If you saw the video I did yesterday on using him in a clan boss team, you know how big that is, because he's going to give those buffs to everybody for basically the entire fight. That's a huge thing. This is great in Arena. It's great in Dungeons. It's really good in all spots of the game. And then he has this amazing ability here on his A2. This is the one where I'm just like, it's just a little bit extra, which is what I love about it so much. His A2, he attacks one enemy, also attacks all other enemies if the first attack is critical, and the second hit has a 50% chance of placing a stun debuff that books up to a 75% chance for 1 turn. After attacking, decreases the turn meter of each enemy without a stun by 20%. So no matter what, guys, this is an AoE hit. As long as you crit, and that's obviously important with this guy, as long as you crit, he is an AoE. He's either going to reduce the turn meter of the enemies or he's going to stun them. That is a massive CC ability right there. I mean, just massive, guys. 75% chance to stun every enemy is huge. We just got Astral on as a fusion champion. He has a 100% chance to stun on one of his skills. Archmage has a 75% chance to do it. Archmage is an epic champion. This is a great skill. And then his A1 is fills this champion's turn meter by 10%, fills the turn meter by 20% if this attack is critical. So having him with 100% crit rate is really important. You're going to benefit from his A1. You're going to benefit from his A2. It's a really strong skill. He does give himself a 30% crit rate buff, and that's going to be up for both of those skills. So while I have mine built at 100% crit rate, honestly, I should build him at 70% crit rate. In fact, I'm going to go back and I'm going to go ahead and make that change, because he's giving himself that buff, because that buff lasts for 2 turns, it's up for all of his other attack skills. It's a really strong ability, guys. Very last, before I go ahead and remake him, his aura is increase all ally speed in arena battles by 17%. That's very nice. In all battles, aura is always good. That means you can bring him in Doom Tower, dungeons, Faction Wars, Arena, it doesn't matter where you bring him, he's going to be useful because of that. That's a really nice ability. So let me go ahead and I'm going to remake his kit really fast. I'm going to reduce his crit rate. I had it at 100%, realizing now I only need 70%. Let's go ahead and do that. Okay, guys, so I finally re-kitted him out. So we can see right here, I have him at 72% crit rate. With the 30% crit rate boost, it's going to be 100%, a beautiful thing. 145 crit damage. He's not a big hitter. He has a very low base attack, so getting his damage up. His multipliers aren't bad from my understanding, but his base attack is so low. It's hard to build him up, especially when that's not the primary thing we need from him. His job, debuff the enemy and buff our allies. So I'm not worried about that. I just want him going fast and with accuracy. So we got him with 305 accuracy. It's pretty good. For where I'm at in the hard Doom Tower, it's probably a little bit on the lower side. I'd like to get about 350, but that should be fine and sufficient for most of the stuff we want to show him with. A lot of HP. For some reason, I just have a huge amount of HP on this build here. 2,000 defense. I could probably swap out an HP chest or glove for defense, but this is fine. 251 speed is good. That's going to work for us in both Arena as well in Doom Tower, so I think that's going to be great. Mastery wise, I went offensive tree just because I like going down here. I like taking War Master just when we face bosses. I find that useful, but we don't have to. You could easily go down the defensive tree, come down to Cycle of Revenge to get yet some more turn meter boost on this guy. That's going to be very useful for you. There's definitely a lot of ways to go around building this. I think the things that you want to take though with him, you want to take Rapid Response so he gets a turn meter boost when a buff expires, because he's putting up buffs all the time, and you want a turn meter boost with Arcane Celerity when a debuff expires, specifically those stuns. I think as long as you get those two things, you're in good shape. I came down the accuracy tree just to get a little bit more accuracy. I went to Lore of Steel so we get more speed. That's valuable too. And I went Cycle of Magic, although everything's timed really well with his skills, but I wouldn't mind getting that stun ability back a little faster. And if he gets a speed up boost faster, that's fine too. Lasting Gifts just to extend those buffs for us. So this is the build I have. One Perception set, one Immortal Gear, and one Speed set. I think that's fine. You can really build him however you want. You can build him with more defense. You can build him with more HP. You can build him with more accuracy. You can even build him resist if you wanted to. It doesn't really matter. You can put Immunity Gear on him, and I think he'd be great. Just depends what areas of the game you want to bring him into. So areas I think we should test out. We should definitely test out Arena. We definitely should test him out in dungeons, and I think he's going to be good in pretty much all of them. So we won't test all of them out. I think that'd be a little overkill. And we could test him out in Doom Tower. I don't think that's really necessary. The way I look at Doom Tower is it's like the hardest dungeon run you're going to do. So you understand if he works in the dungeons, he's going to work in Doom Tower. He's going to make your teams very, very strong, very, very fast. And he's immune to turn meter decrease, which is really useful when you face anybody that's going to be doing that to your team. So let's go ahead. Let's start him off. Let's take him into Dragon. Let's see what he can't do there. I think he's going to be really, really good for us. So let's go ahead and take a look here. You can see I already have him in the team. This is just kind of what I'm running right now. Is he the most optimal? Maybe not, but he's as good as many others. Now, one thing, he doesn't have a turn meter boost on his A3 skill. Oh boy, I just went into it. You see, he went ahead and put it all up. The increased speed, the increased crit rate, the increased crit damage. Beautiful stuff right there. He works so well with Seer because that's 3 buffs. Look at that. Just quick wipe. There you go. That's that AoE 2 where it gets that stun out. We only stunned Tayrell out of that, but we did hit everybody else, reduced their turn meter as a result. There we go. And boom. Nice and quick and easy, right? It's a breeze using this guy. Now you can see we're not doing crazy damage, but that 100% crit rate is nice. It's definitely working for us. So he is doing okay damage-wise. Not bad. The multipliers, like I said, are good. He just is really hard to build the attack up, so we're not going to get crazy numbers out of him. If you could build him up to like 4K attack, I think you could actually see a lot of good coming out of him. But I just don't see that being a reasonable thing. But look at that. We keep those buffs up for the whole time, guys. Getting that added crit damage is really good for your nuke champions. The crit rate is good for everybody. You can build your whole team with less crit rate because of that. And because it's on a 3-turn cooldown, because he's going to keep putting that up, you really will have that on your team for the full fight. So there's not a lot of like, you know, they're gonna have it for like 2 out of 3 attacks. It's up there, and he's probably your fastest champion. So that skill is gonna be refreshing very, very regularly. The lasting gifts only helps to keep it up there when it falls off intermittently. And look at that, minute 30, not even a thing. I mean, the dude can play there for sure. Let's go ahead and see where's another spot we could check him out. We could bring him into spiders. I think is actually just fine. So I use Gerp Tuck here, but let's go ahead and we'll bring Archmage in. And remember, we have the Speed Aura too. So if we ever want to use him as a lead, we can and go just a little bit faster. But you can see here, once again, we're going to be able to build our crit damage, our crit rate. That means I could build my Royal Guard, my Cold Heart, my Septimus with 30% less crit rate. That's a ridiculous amount, guys. Ridiculous. And there we go. We get some AoE stun out of it too, so he kind of limits what the spiders even do to us. That's a real nice thing to be able to have there, especially if you're progressing in spiders. Of course, you know, I think if you're progressing, this guy is invaluable. In a lot of ways, look at that. 30 seconds, not even a thing. I mean, obviously this is a pretty stacked squad, but I think you can see the advantages that he brings for your team. So really, really good champion, guys. Let's see where else we can bring him in. He's going to be useful in every dungeon, every spot. Now, he is green. He is blue affinity, so that is going to be important. As a blue affinity champion, he's going to have a hard time against red affinity bosses. So I believe on Ice Golem we're groovy. It's green affinity. That's actually worked out great for him. On Fire Knight, however, it's going to be an issue because his crit rate isn't going to land all the time. So he's going to be least useful here. This is probably the one spot I wouldn't bring him in. He doesn't have multi-attacks anyway. So the spots I would do, Dragon, Spider, I think he's going to be great. Ice Golem, I think he'll be great. And obviously Dungeons, he's going to be very strong. But where I think he's going to shine a lot for people is going to be in Arena. And obviously a big part of that is the fact that he has that AoE stun ability on. So with him, let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and take Arbiter out of this team. Oh, you know what we'll do? This is what we're going to do. We'll bring Arbiter back in. Let's make sure I have the right one. Got to have the speed. Yeah, okay. So this is my Arbiter. My Arbiter's super fast, so Arbiter's going to go first. We do have a Speed Aura with him. Arbiter's obviously better, so we'll keep it with Arbiter. That's fine. But what I'm interested in doing is bumping our crit rate, crit damage, and maybe even getting that stun out on these guys. So let's go ahead and see what we can't do with this. And we'll go ahead and manual this here so we can kind of see. So with that speed buff, he does go next. So here, typically, we're going to get the increased speed and stuff, but I kind of want to see what happens when we go with this stun ability. Boom. We already stunned Trunda. It's a nice start to Clan Boss run right there. And it gives us plenty of time to be able to come in and wipe the rest of these guys just like we should. That's it. That's as easy as that is. Now, of course, if you want to use him as your speed lead, I think that's fantastic. It's really easy. We up our crit rate. We up our crit damage. He's very effective doing that as well. So there's a lot of ways I feel like you can use a champion like this. And that's, I think, very key. Okay, I actually decided, why don't I make some changes here to take advantage of Archmage. So I'm going to bring in Ethos instead of my Trunda. And basically what I did was I took off his speed boots and kind of redid his kit. And now he has insane amounts of attack with still great crit damage and that 70% crit rate. Still 214 speed, so should be fast enough to at least stay viable for this. He's not like super speedy for me. And there's definitely a possibility he could still get cut in. This isn't like the best speed tuned team in the world, but that's pretty fast for Arena for an attack champion, and he's going to hit like a truck. So this is a Sylar team, and I wanted to see how he can be immune to that turn meter boost. So let's go ahead and take a quick look at that. I'm just going to manual just so we can kind of see. You can see we're going to get that crit rate and damage up. We're not going to get cut in. It might not even matter for this fight. Here we go. Oh, there we go. Not quite. It's okay. We'll just crush these guys. I think that's cool too. Oof, does a lot of damage. That's really nice. Okay, we've got another Sylar team here, so we're gonna see if this can't. If we can't see this, we might lose if we get outsped, but that's okay. I just kind of want to see Sylar in action here. So let's go ahead and, you know what, we're not going to, well, yeah, we'll use it. We'll use it. It's kind of what we do. Get the speed boost. There it is. You can see we didn't get the turn meter reduction. You saw it on all the 3 other champions, but not on Archmage. Pretty cool ability that he's got right there. All right, we're still alive. Somehow, some way, we are still alive here, guys. Let's see if we can't reduce that. And this is one of the spots where I think Archmage couldn't survive. It would have been really clutch if you could come in with that stun right there at that spot, but it's not going to matter because Ethos is going to do some work cleaning it up. All right, we got one more here. Let's see how this one goes. So you can see the decreased turn meters on all the 3 other champions except for Archmage. I slowed it down so we could catch that. Clap, clap, and we're going to lose this one. That's okay. We got to see that he does have immunity to turn meter reduction. That's what's really what I wanted to show you guys. I'm going to do some more fights here, guys. I'll take myself off, and you can kind of just see how he works in Arena. So guys, that should give you a pretty good idea of how Archmage works. I mean, you can see how great he is in dungeons, how good he is in Arena. There are a couple times when that stun, AoE stun, just comes in super clutch. Kind of unexpectedly, but really, really nice little bonus that he brings to the table. So he has a lot of great stuff on his kit. If you have him, he's going to be a huge improvement over an Apothecary, for example. He's going to be, I think... I really don't know that he's an end game kind of champion, but what is really great is even for end game accounts, you can use him in places like dungeons and stuff for your teams without having to use some of your best champions. So you can really fine tune him with like a seer comp like we were using in Dragon or something else, or an Ice Golem team, something along those lines, especially teams where you're trying to hit for max damage. I'm actually really tempted to bring him into Spiders at this point and see if that extra crit damage and crit rate could really up my team's success in there, because I basically wouldn't have to put any crit rate on my champions. I can just really stack the crit damage on them then, and the attack on them could make it for really fast dungeon runs as a result. So those are things that I'm already thinking about of like, oh, how could I use this champion in my end game stuff right now? And if you're progressing, oh my gosh, this guy is phenomenal. Just phenomenal for progression. That increased speed, the AoE stun, the crit rate, crit damage stuff is so helpful to your squad. And because it's so reliable, you can consciously build in the lack of crit rate and feel confident that your champions are going to be able to have that buff up enough to keep that on basically 100% of the time. So really strong champion, guys. Really strong. I do encourage you to get him, build him. Even if you're just going through the normal Doom Tower, I mean, he is the best reward in this first time around. I mean, he's easily better than Thea at this moment. So definitely he's the guy that I was shooting for. That's why I did the normal Doom Tower first, so I could get him, master him out, and show him to you guys. So yeah, that's the build. Hopefully this was enjoyable for you guys. Hopefully it was a little informative and helpful. I do think if you are going to build this guy, there's 2 different builds. You can build him for Clan Boss with a team I'm going to show you guys tomorrow, where I think he's actually going to be quite useful in, or you can build him for arena, and for dungeons. In dungeons and arena progression, you want as much turn meter stuff as you can. You'll want to use the masteries style I chose. Maybe not the attack, maybe not with the offensive tree, but the defensive tree instead. There's a lot of ways you can go about doing that. But you'll want to build accuracy so that stun can land, and you're going to want to build speed. And primarily, that's all you're really going to need to do. So hopefully that'll be good for you guys. Hopefully that's helpful. And if it is, hit that subscription and like button. And yeah, guys, until next we meet, I'm the Deadwood Jedi.